Hey guys, well, this week what we're going to do is actually install the new Fitech system on the 64. Now, we ran into the guys at Fitech at Good Guys, and they were cool enough to send us out a kit for the 64. This thing has a horrible cold start problem, spits, sputters, it doesn't run well until it's definitely at temp. So, and then we have a huge fuel consumption problem where this thing just drinks it. I think we're getting 6 miles to the gallon right now. So, we're going to take the Holley 4-barrel off and put on this new Fitech system. Now, my wife's here to help me today, so it's awesome. I actually got her out in the garage. So, let's see what all this comes with. Instructions. That's your job.
Yay.
This is the main unit. Now, this is supposed to bolt right up to replace any carburetor. So now the difference is the CDI box is actually inside the unit. Now this unit's good up to 400 horsepower. It is the 30003, so 3003, up to 400. Now they sent me another kit that we might be putting on the Love later. That's good up to 600 horses. But for this one right now, we're going to see if we can get this installed. So there's the main unit with all the wiring harness on it. The display controller, temp sender, that's the O2 for the exhaust, the bung, the weld in. They say you can clamp it or weld it. I'm just going to weld it. Different plugs and fittings, adapters. That's the fan wiring harness, hose clamps. Looks like the wiring harness for the display, and they even give you carburetor gaskets. Okay. And the last thing they give you is a windshield mount. So if you want to keep the display up all the time, clamps and holds it for you. So, looks like a pretty complete kit. Now we did glance over the instructions earlier, and we went ahead and picked up a few things we think we're going to need. Let's get this all back in the box so I don't lose anything. Now I did some research. This kit runs about $850 to $900, but it's supposed to take all the ease out of tuning a carburetor. All right, the other things we did pick up is we picked up a wall burl inline pump. This one here is a 392. So, because we need a consistent 60 psi, so we're going to be converting this from a mechanical pump to electric pump. Of course, we bought a block off in order to block off a mechanical pump. We've got inline filter, which we're going to need 2 actually. We're going to need 1 pre-pump, 1 after pump. A couple of A&N fittings to hook up the fuel line. Fuel injection hose. And then Matt from over at Unlimited Marine gave us a box of heavy grade fuel line for the return line. And of course, fuel injection clamps. So, there might be more stuff we need, but we're going to get started with this and see if there's something else we need. We'll get it along the way. So, alright, well, let's get this hood open and get this old carburetor off.
First thing you should do is disconnect the battery. Okay, now we're going to remove the vacuum line.
Ow!
Without killing yourself in the process.
Now I'm going to remove the fuel line. I'll put a drip pan under the truck to catch any excess.
So now we're going to install the O2 sensor. We need to drill a 7/8 inch hole.
Needs to be 8 inches past the collector, 18 inches from the exhaust tip. Then I'm going to drill it through. It has to be at least 10 degrees tilted. You don't want it dead horizontal because...
In order for it to, the condensation.
Right, to run off. So you got to put it in an angle when you put it in. So I'm going to drill a pilot hole, open it up, and then we'll go ahead and weld
the bung in.
The bung in. Now they give you the option with a little gasket and 2 hose clamps, you can just clamp it on. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and weld it in. So we'll go from there.
All right.
All right, while the O2 bung is cooling, we don't want to thread that sensor in while it's scalding hot. So we're gonna let it be for a minute. So we went ahead and mocked up the actual fuel injection system, and turns out the linkage hits the intake. So we ran down to O'Reilly real quick, got a 1-inch spacer. We're gonna put it in. Now the problem is the spacer requires longer studs. So we gotta take these short studs out and put in long studs. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that right now. Now, just to be smart with my luck, I take a paper towel, shove it in the intakes, holes. That way, if I drop a screw or a nut, it doesn't go in my intake. So simple as that, just preventative. You know, if I screw up here and drop one, I don't have to take the whole engine apart. So you're just going to need 2 of the nuts that you normally hold the carburetor down with. Screw one on, screw the second one on. Then you'll hold the first one and tighten the second one to it. You're effectively causing a jam nut between the two. Tighten them down. Then you should be able to spin the bottom one in reverse and get the stud out. So just like that. All right, installing them is the exact opposite. Put the jam nuts on together first, tighten them, then use the top nut to actually thread them in. Now, these only need to be at 16 foot-pounds of torque, so you don't want to go overboard. Trick is to hold the bottom one steady while you break loose the top nut. That way you don't unthread the stud. All right, so now we have the Walbro pump, filters on both sides, that's what it calls for. I'm gonna go ahead and mount this under there and run the fuel line so we can go ahead and get this thing installed.
Ooh, Fiona, when you...
This is Fiona, she likes to help.
Fiona.
Seems like only yesterday I held you in my hands, and now I'm looking on your grave and sit on heavy fence. I've got...
Okay guys, so Jerry's just wrapping up the return lines and the feed lines on the system.
I've got no place to go. My love, my little victory. I miss you so.
All right guys, so we've done all of the major install. We've installed the O2 and wired it, fuel pump, wired it, coolant sensor's been teed in, so we actually have a spot for it, so that's all done. I think all that's left up is hook up the ground, and
The display's done too.
yeah, the display's been put in. So we'll hook up the ground and then we gotta set up the display. So let's go ahead and get that hooked up so we can do it.
All right.
All right, so we've checked for fuel leaks. Everything seems dry, so I think we're good. We've cycled the key 3 times now, actually a lot more, and primed the system. So we should be good. Now we've got to go in and do the actual initial setup on the touchscreen here. Engine setup. Okay, it's a 6-cylinder.
Okay, so.
And it's a 292. So, okay, mild to wild cam, it is a stock cam. So we want to go into it and just put 1. Rev limit on this engine should be about, I don't know, I don't like taking it above 4,000.
Yeah.
Okay, idle RPM warm up, warm. 800's fine. We might dial it down later. Okay, after each adjustment, you're supposed to send the information to the ECU. So we're figuring that out now. All right, now that we have the initial setup in, make sure it's in neutral and crank it. It should be in neutral.
All right, last step, now that it's up and running, is to install the air cleaner. I know, that's crazy.
Fucking way better.
That's awesome.
Oh, jerkiness.
Yeah, wow. It's like a new truck.
So much better. Accelerate smooth. Everything. Turn around and go back to the house.
Yeah.
See what it does. Seems good to me.
That went really smooth, actually.
Yeah, compared to before.
Yeah.
Way better.
Huh.
Way better than before.
Sure.
The big test is we're going to get back. Every time I turn this truck off, it would backfire so freaking loud. It was, I don't know, everybody knew I showed up, but now it's kind of nice to be at a car show and turn it off and not freaking scare everybody in the crowd.
Here's the test. Oh, no backfire.
All right. Well, looks like we're done. All right, guys. Well, so far I'm extremely happy. It's already taken care of one of my problems, which was the cold start. I'd have to sit here and pump it, fire crank, pump it, and sit there with my foot on the throttle to keep it running. So this, turn the key, it fires up, I can walk away, let it warm up, no big deal. So with the install of 2 sensors and about 4 or 5 wires, easy. Bolts right in where your other carburetor goes, linkage hooks up, you're good to go. Well, you guys know me, I shoot straight from the hip on stuff. I'd buy this one, that's for sure. If you got a problem child like this truck was, believe me, it accelerates smooth, it's worth the money. So, but I do want to take a minute and thank Fitech for sending me this kit. That was really awesome, you guys did this. I did tell them when we met it that, hey, I'm gonna give you my opinion on it, but you know what? This worked out in their favor. It's a great kit.
Absolutely.
So anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, and if you want to see some of our other videos, there's a link over there. But anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
Oh, careful.
Happens a lot. My fat fingers don't want to work.
Maybe I should do it.
Okay, you do it.